5, 4, 3, 2, 1, ¡ya!
Galaxy near you. This is Brothers in Booze. And here are your hosts, Greg Washington and Doug Ziegler.
Damn!
Welcome to Brothers in Booze, y'all. I don't know what to say about that. That was in Chile, though.
Yeah. All I will say is that was intense, but there's parts of it look like where they just decided, oh, yeah, let's throw some plywood down right here. And like, some of that shit looked pretty rickety. I was like,
Right.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Good times.
Yeah. So what you got? What you got in the glass there, sir?
Speaking of good times, I have Third Space's hot water here, which is a non-alcoholic beer, Citra and lemon, or a non-alcoholic. It's a sparkling water with Citra hops and natural lemon flavor.
Looks like water.
It's like a lighter Sprite.
Interesting. So it's like a watery Sprite?
Yeah, and my first instinct is to add alcohol. So I don't know if it's getting the whole. I'm not sure if I'm grasping the concept, but I'm like, damn, this would be good with some vodka.
Yeah.
Right. But so I'm not sure if I get the whole thing. I'm not sure. What do you got?
Well, I'm actually going to start with an A as well. So this was something that our friend Matt Strain suggested when it came out. It's a Hoppy Hellas from Athletic, and that's Matt Pressbury, by the way, not having his Facebook thing recognized. But this is a Hoppy Hellas Geralt's Gold, which is from The Witcher on Netflix. They had all that shit on the top. And because I ordered fast, thanks to Matt, I got a glass out of it. Like I needed more glasses, but Gerald's Gold glass.
That's a pretty one.
Yeah. So I've actually had this before already, but I will tell you, they're not lying when they say it is hoppy. It is very hoppy. Like I would say they said it's a Hellas. It drinks without hoppy. It's much more like an IPA than a Hellas.
Okay.
Gerald's Gold. So it's good. It's very hoppy, which is what I was when you say a hoppy Hellas, I said like a little more hops. That was like much more hoppier than I was expecting. But other than that, like that's a good beer, good solid beer. So cheers.
Yeah, so I'm gonna save this hop order maybe for some vodka later. I'm not even really joking. Yeah. And I'm moving on really fast to Third Space's Summer Home.
Ooh.
Which is a hoppy
blonde
ale. And it was a busy day, so I kind of wanted to get to my alcoholic beverage, if you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. And you know, Doug, I wouldn't say we're restricted, but we can't be drinking like we used to be drinking. So I usually wait. So I couldn't wait anymore for this one. This is look how light it is. And so this was what I was looking for. Kind of it's nice, light, crisp, has some hops to it, and then it tastes like a beer. This thing tastes like it does. It tastes like hops added to water with a little fizz. So yeah, absolutely. Happy Juneteenth.
Carlton.
Yes. Egg whites. Yeah. Those are good first two, right, Doug?
Yeah, egg whites are good. Actually, egg yolks aren't terrible. You just can't have like a fucking giant omelet. Like you have,
right.
You have like an egg or two.
Or you could have a giant egg omelet and not eat the rest of the day.
Yeah, pretty much. Or just eat like salads. I'm gonna have 2 salads the rest of the day.
Right. And I've done that actually. So
yeah, I mean, I've grown to really freaking love salads. It's a weird thing because I used to be like, salads I should have some veggies. Now it's like some lunches I'm not gonna have a really good salad. And maybe I'm just old. Maybe I'm getting excited for salads. Maybe that's a problem. I don't know.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, who's not a problem, or I don't know if he's going to be or not. He might be. Our guest this evening is the president of the National At-Home Dad Network, an organization that I hold fond to my heart as I worked there for a long ass time. And it was great overall. Nothing's 100% great. Shout out to our friend James Lopez, who I saw.
Yeah.
And appears to be recovering. It's great. We love James here, so shout out to James if he's watching. And yeah, well, what is going on
here? Yeah, because Carlton was saying get swole.
Well, back to my long ass introduction of JHG, who is the president of National Dad Network, and we have him here on not only Juneteenth weekend, which was a great weekend, and I had a good father-son moment with my kids today as I pushed and shoved through the crowd so they could meet Tony Evers, the governor of Wisconsin, at the Juneteenth flag raising at the Capitol here. It was a nice little ceremony. It was a good time, and it was just another civic thing that I wanted them to be a part of and to see. And then the governor was there taking pictures, so I kind of elbowed my way a little bit in, and I can't. Not that I can't show the picture. I haven't been authorized, so I sent it to you, Doug, because you're a family friend.
Yep.
And I'll probably send it to JHG at some point. I don't think he's seen it, but it was a proud dad moment. So we'll talk about proud dad moments. And it was cool. And then this week we're going to take a tour of the because my oldest was asking about where does the governor live and all that. So we're going to take a tour of the governor's residence on Thursday. So I just signed up for that right before the stream started. Yeah, so it's cool. I also wanted to ask y'all about. I want to remind me because I might forget. I want to talk about y'all. Listen, let's bring JHG on.
Yeah, let's do that.
What am I doing? What are we doing?
It was the longest ass introduction, I think,
probably
in a long time.
Time, right? It was almost like one for Zach. We should give Zach like.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, that's a Zach intro.
Zach likes long BIB shows. I don't know what y'all. Where y'all?
Wow.
Where y'all at?
What's with the innuendo tonight, Greg? Jeez.
Right?
JC, what are you drinking?
Yeah, man. What's in your glass?
So, in the same vein as
in the same
Greg
vein.
It's gonna be a long night, folks.
It is gonna be one of those nights, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've got some Hopwell hoppy sparkling water from our friends at Port City.
Port City, man. We love Port City.
Yeah. I couldn't resist when I saw it. I'm trying to, like you guys, drink healthier, be a bit more health-minded, shall we say.
Yeah.
And so I grabbed some of that when I saw it in their case at their brewery. Still got some of their other stuff, but absolutely, Daniel, absolutely. So the reason, and Doug kind of brought this up before we came on, it is actually Captain Picard Day. So I couldn't resist putting on the uniform for Captain Picard. Just, because I'm a nerd.
Aren't we all in our own ways, right?
We are in our own ways. But, that's my little side thing.
What does that drink taste like?
It tastes like sparkling water. It doesn't really have like a hop forward kind of flavor to it. It's just what is
does it need vodka?
Carbonated water and hop oil. It's almost
oil.
Hop oil. I almost want to it could add a little bit of gin to it, and it could be like a gin and tonic.
That sounds good, though.
It is. It actually, I didn't think of that until just now. So
let's jump right into the fatherhood conversation. So the thing that it's thing that's kind of top of mind for me and my boys at the moment is wardrobe. They are 17 and 19, and they're at the stage where I feel that I could buy some legacy items for them, meaning things that they'll have for a long time. You know how when they're growing up, I was just throwing clothes that I could get from my grandmother. I mean, any kind of clothes. They're boys. They're just, not that girls aren't bad on clothes, but I think girls have more of a awareness about clothes and like keeping stuff where boys just run through like nothing. So they're getting to the stage where, like their shoes aren't getting, they're not growing all the time. So I'm actually trying to teach them, I don't even know, like a sense of how they want to appear, because it's not about how I want them to appear. It's about how they want to impede, appear and
Impress
present
upon.
themselves.
Yep.
Right. So it always needs to be a thing. So I can't be like, well, that doesn't look good or that doesn't. So how did I know, JC, your sons are younger than mine, and Doug, generally his kids are older than mine. So I should have, same age and a little bit older though, for sure. But on average, I think on average your kids are older than mine actually, but probably more same age. But the point is, how are Doug first, but how are y'all dealing with this, and how do y'all prepare to deal with this as far as like I just bought them 2 belts and we went to Kohl's and I literally had to teach them how to like size themselves, and then after they found a size they come back out and then look in the racks and see what they can get in those sizes, and then you match them up and then you go back in the thing, and then Doug, did you go through this whole thing with your kids, or how did that work with you?
Vastly different with each kid. I have 2 kids who are all about fashion and clothes, and then I have 2 kids who probably couldn't give a shit. Like, like my oldest is very much like a hoodie and sweatpants or shorts, like just very comfortable, whatever comfortable. And then my other son, he'll wear the same clothes for like 2-3 days because he did a charter online school, so he didn't care. He was dressing up for school. He's like, fuck it, I'll just like I go and pick him up, and my ex-wife would be like, "You've been wearing that same shirt for 4 days." He's like, "Yeah, I haven't gone outside." So that's that one. And then the other 2, my youngest and my other kid, is very fashionable, but in different ways. Like my youngest son, he is very much a sneakerhead, like our Eddie, and all the outfits have to match the sneakers, and all like sporty stuff, nice sweatpants, nice sweatshirts, like that's just how he rolls. And then my other kid is much more eclectic with their fashion. They wear all kinds of stuff. They actually got voted best dressed in their class this year for senior year, and they have a really good sense of style, and they also are very good at hunting for deals. I just wish they wouldn't do it so much. But
that is not a deal.
Yeah. Well, it's that thing. Well, I saved this money because it was on sale. Yeah, but you
spent more money.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
Correct. All right, JC, how are you? Or Doug, are you done?
Yeah, I'm good. Sorry.
Oh, no worries. JC, how are you tackling at your kids' ages?
Right now, we go with the things that they're comfortable in wearing. We don't worry about, and I don't think our kids worry about what their friends think. They just wear what they like to wear, whether it's a graphic t-shirt or plain shirts or whatnot. But it's for our kids, it's if they like this one thing, we get a lot of that one thing. So our oldest wears a lot of like sweatpants or workout kind of pants on a regular basis, and t-shirts. And then he's got a band jacket that he got last year that he wears during cooler months. And then after that, he's wearing band shirts during the warmer months. But by and large, if they need clothes because they grow out of them, because they're still, in fact, the oldest one is taller than me now, or as tall as me. So he's buying, we're almost past that stage of, oh, shit, we got to buy another size up again. But then the little one who's 10, we're still having to buy things because he keeps growing and growing. But it's all the same, similar kind of style. So we don't need to worry too much about whether or not they're hitting a trend or things like that. They don't get into those kinds of things. So we're lucky in that regard.
Not yet.
Right. Well, so the oldest is going to be a junior next year. So I bet you we're going to start to see a bit more of a shift in what he wants to wear and what he how he appears.
Invest in Axe body spray.
Oh God.
So I don't know how much guidance y'all had as a kid, but I didn't have any. I didn't have any in this aspect.
I
So
had
had
no
to
guidance.
I had to come together myself. So that really kind of makes me a little bit more hands-on with my boys as far as talking to them about this. And it happened today because I told them that we were going down to the Juneteenth thing, and I said, y'all want to wear something that's a little like not all formal, but better looking than if we're going to go play tennis. So the youngest put on his button shirt, and then the oldest had a tie-dye. So
Sure.
I'm like,
right.
Okay, cool. Like that's a couple different styles, and y'all doing it. So come to find out, at the Juneteenth flag raising, we ended up. Like I said, I ended up getting them a picture with the governor of Wisconsin. So now they're in a picture with the governor of Wisconsin, and my youngest has this nice button-down shirt, and my son had his nice tie-dye, but it looked good. And it's funny because if I wouldn't have said anything, it would have been a Spider-Man shirt and something else like that. But I actually said, today's the day that you probably want to look a little bit nicer. Maybe we'll run into someone that we don't know. And I didn't even really think that we were going to be able to, get a picture with the governor. I just didn't think it was going to work out that way. I didn't know if he was even going to be there. So it was a learning lesson today for that. And that's why I wanted to talk to y'all guys about that, see where we're at and how y'all navigate that. And I'm just, I'm also at the place where I'm just like, getting belts, and we went to Kohl's, which is our kind of. I don't think y'all have Kohl's out there, do y'all?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, we do.
Cool. Yeah, okay.
That's like my wife's go-to for our kids' clothes. Oh, you need more shorts? Boom, 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 boom. Like order online and go pick it up.
Okay, cool. So we went to Kohl's for the first time since the pandemic, and just so that they could just go through the racks and we could find things for them. But I kind of tell them, about a wardrobe. Like wardrobe's about almost having one of everything, or things that you really rely on, whether it be cargo shorts. My son rolled his eyes about with me cargo shorts. He's like, cargo shorts, like
dude,
right.
That's where it's at, man.
I know, but I got the side eye. I also got the side eye for jorts, jean shorts, and I'm like, I think I'm not saying have 3 or 4, but if you just have one pair, you know what I mean? Like if you have, 2 polos, I don't know what it is, but like, look at Jay. She's like, no. So I approach JC that like, well, again, they can make those. Yeah, they can make those decisions. You know what I'm saying? But I told him that like it's cool to kind of have one thing of each. If that's what you like, you don't have to have any, or even khaki shorts, or it's like they gotta get JC. They can't just run out with the champion athletic basketball shirts the whole time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No.
So then I'm trying to give them ideas. You know what I mean? So even my youngest rolled his eyes like jorts, and then he went and saw, and he's like, "Oh, there's black jean shorts," and I was like, "Yeah," and he's like, "Oh, I like these, but we couldn't find the size for them." So then, but I was just it was just more about like I'm not telling y'all what to wear. I'm just putting all this in front of you, and y'all can figure out your sense of style, how you feel. I might side eye you, and I might give you my opinion, which is just my opinion. It don't mean anything because I don't even know if I'm the target demographic of what you're trying to be looked at and perceived by, if that even makes sense. So and for job interviews and stuff, it's good that they have good clothes. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. All right.
Our kids dress casual most of the time. They don't like getting into formal wear of any kind. And so it's hard when they have to because they perform in band, right? So they need to wear some more formal looking stuff, and it's hardest with the 10-year-old because he's like doesn't like the way that most of that stuff feels. It's not made to feel comfortable in a lot of ways. So or like I told my kids, I was like, the better stuff feels comfortable. So if you pay $70 for a polo, you're probably going to have that polo the rest of your life if you don't grow in or out of it, because it's probably going to be very comfortable.
What do you mean, Greg? I wore basketball shorts my whole time.
That was
Right
Lauren Need, by the way.
through right through middle school, right? But like you have to kind of grow out of
Yeah,
middle school at some point. But which again, I'm wearing these. I'm wearing athletic shorts now.
I'm wearing basketball shorts now.
Yeah, wear what you're comfortable. I don't care. And as long as Joe don't care, who cares what you wear, right, Doug?
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Joe doesn't care too much.
Right.
As long as I'm not wearing shit with it. As long as we don't
There we
care. As long as I'm not wearing shit with holes in it, then she gets a little antsy. But that's pretty right of her to be antsy about that, I think. I'll keep some shirts that are really ratty because I'll use them for yard work.
They're comfortable too.
But most of them really aren't. But I just keep them because the problem is I have like 50 T-shirts that I wear maybe 20 of them, but I keep the other ones. Oh, well, maybe I'll use it when I'm working in the yard or I'm painting or something like that.
Right.
And so I have T-shirts that are probably older than my oldest kid that I just kept because they're not any old and they're okay, but they're ratty and shit because they're old.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, what's hopefully not ratty is your second beer.
This won't be ratty because this is a good one. Also, before I go, JHG, that is not a hop water what you are drinking. What are you drinking before I do the beer?
Caught.
Well, caught. Being the pasty white guy that I am, I have to at least allude to something Juneteenth. So I pulled out my Uncle Nearest.
Nice. Hey, that's always welcome sight on this show.
Absolutely. So that's what I got going in the glass.
Nice.
It might turn into a second round.
Hey, we're off.
See how things go.
Yeah. All right. So I grabbed this because of the style. It is an ESB.
Oh,
London Gentleman from Lucky Hair, which is in upstate New York. They were in up at the Finger Lakes, and then they bought the place where Farmhouse Ale was, which is Greg. I took you to that was the place that had the wheat wine. They closed, but Lucky Hair bought their place, and they're in there, and they do a lot of really interesting beer, and it had a nice variety of stuff on tap. And I saw that they had an ESB. I was like, well, I'm picking that up because that's a style I like that you do not see a lot of. So, yeah, man, pour it out, baby. God, good stuff. So that's going to take a moment to cool down, but not cool down, but settle down. So look at that color, though. Color's nice. And this is only, I think, 5% ABV, so pretty low. Well, low for my taste buds. Let's be fair about that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep, I'm with you, Daniel. That's why when I saw it, I grabbed it. So. Hold on.
Got to get past that foam.
Yeah, it is. It's smooth, super drinkable. A little bit like has that. It's funny because everybody thinks when you have like an ESB, they think it's bitter, and it's not. It's not. It's a mild beer. And like I actually took them. I had a bottle share one day, and I took a couple of them with me to try. And people were like, I don't know. And I said, trust me, try it. And they tried it, and they're like, that's not at all what I thought, because they didn't realize that an ESB, because they don't see any of them, that is not bitter. But yeah, it's got a little tiny sweetness, but I like a tiny little bitterness at the end. But such a good beer. It's a good drinkable beer. Cheers.
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 Can I show y'all a couple memes that made my week?
Yes.
Please.
I think y'all saw this one. It's just funny.
Yes. Love that one. It's fantastic. Fantastic.
And this one came across my desk late this afternoon, and this shit had me rolling.
Oh, that's perfect.
Any thoughts on that, y'all?
He's so fucking guilty. Just fucking put him away. So tired of, I mean, he's so, what can you say anymore? Really, honestly, what more can you say? I mean, beyond the shadow of a doubt, there's evidence that he lies, that he steals, that he doesn't tell the truth, and that he needs to go to prison.
I have a few thoughts for this. One, before we go, I did see one meme that I thought was good. I don't know if you guys saw it, where it was the boxes in the bathroom, but it was like Boris and Natasha from Rocky and Bullwinkle. Like, that was a really good one. I like that one. I saw this video earlier, and it really resonated with me, because the idea of, like, when you see the indictments are bad enough. They're bad. But what people don't like, I was watching this video, and it was from a lady who said, listen, I've been under federal indictment, and those people don't fuck around. Like, they don't just bring a case. The amount of discovery and stuff they have to actually get to a point where they will bring charges. And considering the high wire act this is, like, they're not going to bring charges against an ex-president just because. They're going to make sure that shit's right tight. So when we get to the point where we start hearing the discovery end of this in the trial, and his lawyers were trying to cut a deal. They wanted to cut a deal, and he told them no. So I hope that bites him square in his flabby fucking ass. I do.
Yeah, it should. I mean, he's gotten away with so much in the last several decades that he thinks he can get away with anything now. Yeah, and so, but nobody's ever put him in a public eye to this degree. And so when you are confronted with, not confronted, but when you see images like that, and he still professes that he's innocent, it's like, what more else do you need? Does the general public need to realize that he's not who he says he is? And now, all that being said, you go and watch video of people interviewing his supporters at these rallies, and those people are batshit fucking crazy. And they twist and they pretzel themselves. Little white toilet reading. In ways that just defy logic. And so why, like, they're so deeply embedded in the belief of him being so great and righteous and whatever other, nonsense, that none of this stuff is going to sway them. None of it's going to penetrate that cultish, cultish bubble that they've created. Yeah. Especially when they sit in a vacuum of the news spaces like Newsmax and OAN and Fox. And Fox, although Fox, I don't think Fox really knows what the hell they're doing anymore, other than trying to hate on liberals left and right. So, yeah.
Go ahead, Greg. Sorry.
This is all I got.
Yeah. Yeah.
Next subject. Yeah. I don't have any more. I really don't.
No, that's
short and sweet and to the point.
Speaking of short and sweet, Doug, let's move on. Before we get to the serious part, we like to fuck around here and get messy. So let's get messy here. Doug, we shouldn't be eating any of this shit, okay? So that's a disclaimer. What I'm about to show you, we shouldn't be eating any of it. But life goes on, and well, for the sake of this stream, Doug, we're gonna play around here, and two have to go forever. So again, maybe chocolate is the best thing for us on here, Doug. There's really not anything that's great for us here. So, Doug, you go first.
Cake for sure is one of them.
That includes cheesecake.
That's right. I'll stick with pie. I love pie. And honestly, it's gonna sound weird, but ice cream. I'm not a big ice cream person. Like, I don't mind it, but it's not a big thing. The thing is, I still drink soda, but I drink these little tiny cans of Sprite that don't have any caffeine in them, because that caffeine fucking weirds my body out anymore. And I make good cheeseburgers, and I only have them once every couple of weeks. But then that day I eat like oatmeal and salad, and then I have the burger at night. You're right, Greg. I think chocolate's probably the best thing for us, and I will never give up fries. They will pry them from my cold, dead hands.
Pry the fry.
JHG.
Cake and cookies.
Oh, and that was pretty fast too.
Well, I had time to think about it a little bit, but
Yeah,
cake, when I saw it,
I went on a soliloquy there. Sorry.
but when I saw the cake, I knew that was one of the first things to go. I mean, I don't have a major sweet tooth, at least now. Back in the day, I probably would have said, "Hey, don't get rid of any of that shit." But the cake and cookies could go the most. I've been with my my focus on my health. I try to keep out a lot of the carbs, and cookies and cake are like the worst kind of carbs that I could ever intake. So I try to limit that. And the soda, the only soda that I drink, speaking of what you were saying, Doug, I only drink caffeine-free sodas, and usually it's sugar-free and caffeine-free, and I don't drink that a ton either.
Because you hate joy? What is up with that?
Well, I will say this. I used to drink caffeine-free Diet Coke, and I tried. They now have Coke Zero caffeine or something, whatever the branding is, but
Sounds horrible.
it's actually sweeter than the Diet Coke. So I have a feeling it's more like the actual regular Coke in the way that it's formulated. But again, I don't drink a ton of that either. I drink almost entirely coffee through the day. and when I'm past my second cup, I'm on decaf. So too much caffeine makes me jittery. So
yeah, makes my heart feel like Buddy Rich is playing on it. So
yes, exactly.
yeah, not great.
Yikes.
When I'm vibrating and it's not because of my music, then it's a bad thing.
Yeah. What about you, Greg? What do you got? What are you kicking off? What are you kicking off to?
Vibrating.
Vibrating.
Man,
hey,
you're walking right into these, JHG.
Oh yeah. It's big enough to walk under. So.
Okay, soda. Soda and cake.
Mm-hmm.
That's a simple answer here.
Hey, we all picked cake.
Yeah, we did.
Chips should go to really.
Oh man,
crisp or yeah. But that leads me quickly to this one, y'all, which is an interesting one too. Now,
oh, this is easy.
Oh.
So before we get to it, what the fuck is number 9 and number 10?
Yeah, right. Thank you. I was saying the exact same thing. Sorry, no.
Is that real? And Casey, if you're watching, we don't want to hear from you and your Canadian influence.
That's right. That's right.
Doug, since it's easy for you, you go first.
I want to say the tangy ketchup and the hot mustard are brand new. Those are newer flavors they just came out with. I will say
they're an abomination.
They don't sound good. That's for fucking sure. I will say that my absolute favorite Dorito is spicy sweet chili. Those things are fucking awesome. And then I will go with the classic Dorito number 1. So 3 and 1.
Okay. All right.
I realized that. What's up, Mike Andrews? How you doing?
Yeah. What's up, man?
Good to see you. Yes, a former guest. For sure. Let's see. Yeah, I'm not sure what the hell's going on here. HG, do you know what the hell's going on here, JHG?
I recognize like half of them. The number 11 doesn't belong in there because it's just a different dimension of one flavor. So
literally, it's 3D.
It is a 3D version of number 1. So why the hell are you there? I haven't had a lot of those, so I can't say for certain. I mean, number 1 is definitely like the linchpin. You got to go with that. But I'd be interested in trying like salsa verde. That sounds like a good one to me. I don't like this idea of lime, like the flamin' hot lemon one. It's like, you know, if you got to add lime to it, then what are you doing? Why are we going there?
It's limon.
And I'm always up for, buffalo. Buffalo wings are a good staple. So
I can't see that one. Is that number 7?
That's 6.
Okay, what's 7?
7 is ultimate cheddar.
I never even heard of that one.
I hadn't heard of that one. Right, exactly.
And barbecue sounds horrible, actually.
I had those, and they are not good.
I was going to say it's hard. It's hard to justify barbecue Doritos because it's a corn chip with barbecue, and that doesn't sound right.
No.
Now, the Fritos makes a chili cheese variant of their corn chips that are really good.
I can see that because it's like those are more like a potato chip because of the salt.
Yeah.
There you go, JC. So you haven't had the salsa verde?
I have not, but I'm all for that.
He will be on the hunt now, though.
I got to try those out.
The only answer is Cool Ranch. Stop it, y'all. Stop it. Anyway.
All of that just to say number 2. Fuck y'all. I mean, come on.
Look at it. Salsa verde is getting.
Look at that.
Yeah, well, the guy from Texas is rooting for salsa verde. He knew that was coming.
The guy who lives in Texas. He's not from Texas.
That's fair.
Right, because look, he's even talking about Boston here. Yeah, I'm not sure how ketchup in a Dorito.
I just no.
I don't.
No.
I am not feeling it at all.
Let alone a potato chip. I mean, come on. No.
Right.
Just no.
Well, apparently ketchup chips are good, but ketchup Doritos sound pretty gross.
Ketchup chips are.
I had them in there. They're all right. They're not anything.
So look, the thinking behind it is sound. I get it, because guess what goes great with fries? It's ketchup. So the thinking is sound, but the execution for me is meh. So that's where I'm at with that.
You have to be someone that likes ketchup with their fries, and I stopped using ketchup with my fries years ago. So I
love it.
Okay.
And I just can't do the ketchup and the chip thing.
I love like fries and ketchup are like my go-to. So
right.
But I can't do
JC, what kind of shit are you on?
Well, like Five Guys fries. Five Guys fries with this, like the seasoning that they like, the whatever seasoning they put on their fries. Those kind of fries. If you give it like something more than just salt, I'm all for it. But I don't need something to dip it in.
That's fair. Flaming hot lime and Doritos is the answer to take
Takis. My
kids and Takis.
Yeah, my kids.
I can see that. Yeah.
Okay.
I can totally see that.
Oh,
all right. All right. That Lauren has a point.
With the mayo or the aioli?
The aioli more than the mayo.
Wait, but is it?
I've tried
aioli?
Aioli
isn't it a fancy name for mayo?
It can be, yeah.
Okay, it's like a fancy mayo, because we're not going to say mayo here. We say
garlic aioli.
Okay, Five Guys fries are the best ever. Okay, yeah. Five Guys. They just put like 700 pounds in like a bag and shit.
Yes. Can I have a small?
Yeah.
Yeah, but they better, because the burgers cost $15 or whatever the fuck.
I know.
Like a burger and a fries is like $27.
It's insane now.
So that's why they're like, just load up on the fries. That costs us nothing. Just
right. Yeah, you don't even need the burger.
Yeah, I know. Right.
And
fries are a meal.
Have you ever actually tried their hot dogs? Their hot dogs are actually really good too.
Their hot dogs are banging.
Yeah.
They're
Tried 'em
really,
once.
really good.
Gotta try
Yeah.
them again.
And then the oldest in this house has like, he's almost perfected that whole like open slice. Like he loves them, and he's like, but I can't even. He's like, I can't even ask y'all to spend $7 on a hot dog for me. So I'm gonna try to do this at home. And I'm like, I love you, kid. That's great, because we're not doing it anyway, whether you want to or not. Like at some point, Five Guys was kind of affordable, and then I don't know if it was pre-pandemic. It was definitely during the pandemic that those prices went out the roof, and people started posting them on Twitter. I don't know if you saw that, JC, because you're on Twitter. So are you, Doug? Actually, y'all both on Twitter a lot. Like somebody posted like a family of 4 was like $80 at fucking like Five Guys, and I was like, oh no.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It's good though. It's fucking good. Oh
It's
my
good,
God.
but you are definitely paying for it.
But it's not $80 good.
Yeah. Do you remember when we were kids and you would have like the fancy dinner and your parents would take you to like Olive Garden?
Yeah.
Or Sizzler or something like that? That is what Five Guys is now.
Red Lobster.
Or Red Lobster. But now Five Guys is that meal.
Red Lobster.
Okay, yes. And actually
God.
we don't laugh. We took the kids to Red Lobster 2 weeks ago or something like that. And my kids have never been. So we're like, let's go to Red Lobster. So we went to Red Lobster, and they pretty much they enjoyed themselves. They had a good time. They liked the selection because they're both shrimp heads. So like that was cool. Sure. And of course the biscuits, and like they were just scamming them, and they ate more biscuits than they ate damn food, I think.
They changed the recipe to those biscuits because my son, when he graduated, I asked him where do you want to go to eat when you graduate from college? Where do you want to go eat? And he's like, I want to go to Red Lobster. And I was like, fucking Red Lobster? Are you serious? He's like, yeah. And then we go there, and the cheddar biscuits were good. They were not as good as they used to be. They were flatter, and not as much cheese either.
Facts.
And then he goes and orders 2 lobster tails, so that was fucking great. But anyway, like if you're gonna get lobster,
$35.
No, it was 40. But that was his college graduation dinner. So I'm like, oh well,
yeah,
whatever.
Yeah.
You're getting
you splurge for
mediocre lobster tail. The lobster tails were like this big. I was like, God damn it.
No, stop it, Daniel.
Order me one too, Daniel.
So I agree with Tepper here. Y'all remember this one?
I do.
No ground round, JC?
No, I remember it.
Okay. It was big in our house. That was like the place to go out, like Tepper says. Yep.
For the first time.
And did you make it out without
I was gonna say, do you have scars? Because that's part of the deal.
Yeah, well, he lives in Michigan.
Whether they're
so
mental or physical.
Waffle House is not as big up there, so.
No. Bennigan.
Oh,
not so much.
Oh my God.
But not so much. But I remember Bennigan's. We didn't, or TGI, which is still around actually.
TGI Fridays. Yeah, that's just called
TGI
Fridays.
Now it's Fridays. Yeah.
Yeah. These I forgot what I called these places. What do y'all call these places? Chili's, Olive Garden, Round, Bennigan's. What else are some more? Come on, give me some more, y'all. Comments, give me some more. What are Applebee's?
Yeah,
Bonefish
Red
Grill.
Robin.
By the way, Red Robin's really good still. Their steak fries are pretty good.
It's decent. Yeah, it's decent stuff.
Yeah, but is it like $15 a damn burger?
It's like pretty good.
Probably 10. 10.
Yeah.
10 is what.
But I'm going to tell you, here's the thing. If you want to order Red Robin and order it to go get picked up, you get it to go order steak fries. They just give you one to eat on your way home.
Oh my goodness me.
And I was like, yes, please.
Complimentary?
Yes. It's not, you don't pay for it. They just give it to you as like, here, you ordered. Oh, cool. Here, we're going to give you a small fry. And I was like cool.
And aren't those steak fries, aren't they Aren't they unlimited when you eat there or something like that? Or when you buy
They
a
are.
burger, you
They are, and are not heavily salted at all, which is the big thing.
Yeah,
for me.
I remember that. Yeah.
okay.
It's too bad the Red Robin that's closest to us is so far away, or else I'd be there far more often if that was the case.
Oh wow. It's 2022
Everywhere has
everywhere.
a $15 burger. That's true.
That's a fair point.
That's true.
Good call there, Mike.
Yep. It's pretty much.
I'm just like,
yeah.
he's not wrong.
No, he's not.
And what is wrong is I don't have my third beer and it's back there. So,
Uh-oh.
You go that. I'll do my third while you go get yours.
Okay, I can leave a graphic for y'all to argue about if you want.
Do that.
Do it.
Okay. We've been talking bad food that Doug and I can't eat. And this is how I live now, Doug, for every Friday.
Vicariously through the memes.
Right. By talking about bad food. It makes me not want it or something. I don't know. But so this is an interesting thing, but the rankings really kind of got me on this one. So I wanted to see if they get y'all.
Oh.
Because Almond Joy at number 3.
I
just can't do that.
That's an atrocity.
I can't do that. And then Mounds at 9. I don't know what y'all coconut. Shh.
Nope.
I can't. So what do you? I'll leave this up and I'll go grab my beer. So, but what do y'all think about this?
Go first, JHG. I went first the other couple times.
To me, I mean, 3 and 4 can move down that list. Like Kit Kat and Good Bar can move up. I'm trying to remember Baby Ruth. Yeah, see, Mr. Goodbar is like that cheating, like add some peanuts to a Hershey's bar, right? But I'm a peanut fan, so that works for me. I'd take a Mr. Goodbar over Hershey's bar any day. Other than moving Almond Joy and Musketeers down the list, way down the list, it's pretty solid to me. Snickers was a go-to for me for a while. And again, I like peanut butter, so Reese's is right up there. I mean, to me, 1 and 2 are about the same, but depends on the day, which one I would have more.
All right. Well, Almond Joy and Mounds can fuck off because I don't like either of those.
Wow.
I don't like coconut. It's like a texture thing for me, and I just don't like that very much. I don't mind it as a flavor, but if it's actual coconut, no thanks. Reese's should be number 1, period. End of story for me. I'm going to say, and this will be controversial, and Mike, you're not going to like my answer next after that. But I think Heath is an underrated one. But I think Three Musketeers is the second best candy bar on here. I love Three Musketeers. I like that nougat. I love that shit. And I'm not big. My kid just cheated. It's a war crime.
It's a war crime.
What were you saying, Doug?
Oh shit!
I am not a big fan of. All right, so I think I said on the show I don't really care for nuts. In my food because a lot of them all that shit gets stuck in your teeth. Same thing with popcorn. I don't like popcorn because I don't like that shit getting stuck in my teeth. So that's why I don't eat candy bars with nuts in them. But that's me. What about you, Greg? Give me your wrong opinion. Let's go.
That's a real nice setup. Jesus Christ. Rough crowd tonight. Oh my god.
Hey, we're all about the food shaming, right? That's what it's all about here. So.
Kind of for our show, right?
No. I'm about the food shaming because I'm always right. Y'all people are wrong.
Oh.
Right.
Got it.
Okay,
cool.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay,
all
cool,
right.
cool. Look, I'm learning from our ex-president. I'm learning narcissism.
Right. That's right.
You just keep it going and talk about yourself and everything will work out.
Yeah.
Right. But anyway, Anyway, back to what I was. Okay, so yeah, I'm enjoying Mounds needs to, like Doug said, fuck off. Hershey is a. I don't even think Hershey should be on there, y'all. I think it's on there because it's like the classic milk chocolate bar. But come on, let's be serious. And I grew up, and Doug grew up literally less than an hour away from Hershey, kind of generally, maybe like an hour and a half. It was, Hershey was close. We saw concerts there. At least I know I saw concerts there in the amusement park all the time. But now that I know about real chocolate, Hershey's is trash. Sorry, I hate to shit on all your Hershey dreams, but the Hershey Highway is really more like it than anything else. So Hershey's being on there. Nah. What about Godiva? What about what is that one, Italian one, Ghirardelli, whatever? You all know what I'm talking about.
Ghirardelli.
Thank you. Yeah, whatever. You got it. Thank you. Yes. You know what I'm saying. There's better chocolate out there, but I think 8 is like the placeholder for a classic chocolate bar. So if that's it, then it needs to be on. But Hershey specifically, out. So Mr. Goodbar, yeah, I don't know. If you do a couple of things, I think generally it's all right. Three Musketeers, come on now. And where's Twix? Right. And where is, what is it? What is that one with the pretzels and the, no,
Take 5.
1,000. There's Take 5, and there's 100 grand too, right?
Yeah,
1,000 grand.
That was
Payday.
Daniel mentioned that too.
Payday. I'm not sure. Payday?
Yeah, you go to Payday is like, that's all nuts.
Cancel culture is out for me.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, and cancel Doug too.
Geez,
wow.
He mistakenly
Or cancel Greg, or he doesn't know who he's canceling. Well, it's funny because I believe Chris Carlton will be on next week, so we can, right, Doug? I think we can hash out who he really wants to cancel, and we'll take care of all that next week.
Daniel did mention one that I had totally forgotten about, the whatchamacallit. Yeah, right there.
100 grand are fucking fantastic. Caramello.
Oh, I loved caramellos, but goddamn, those things were so sweet. They'd break off a square, and your teeth would be like, I'm done. Don't do anything more to me. Holy shit.
Right, and then didn't they shrink too?
Yeah, they did. They used to have like bars that were like this big, and they just shrunk up because they were too fucking sweet.
Right, Doug. So what is it? Is it Caramello or Rolo? Which one?
Rolos were better just simply because they were smaller and because of how fucking sweet those goddamn things were. Like, because the caramel was so sweet. Mm-hmm. I liked caramellos, but if I had Rolos, those were my jam because I could just pop them in your mouth. Fucking just a little hit of it, you'd be good. I was like a crack addict with the Rolos.
Okay, Rolo.
Yeah.
Rolo's tight. Yeah. What else is tight real quick is this one, Doug. It's the reason I say Doug is because it's one of our favorites. This is actually weird can art for them. It's Venture.
Oh yeah, that is a little unique for them.
Yeah, it's a major award. Easy double IPA. Oh. I'm pretty sure, Doug, you would not like this one.
Yeah, I wouldn't like the hazy bit. The double IPAs are a little bit on the sweeter end. Usually
it's sweeter, but it's really, really hop assertive, which really isn't your gig. It's almost at the edge of my gig, if that even makes sense, Doug. It's almost too hoppy. Does that?
Wow.
For me, I don't even know.
For you?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
It's 8.2. And it's big, and it's badass, actually. Venture, they're the shit. I went to Milwaukee 2 weeks ago, so I always stop in there first. And yeah.
Oh, Milwaukee.
Yeah, I have one too, but mine's not Milwaukee.
So you, Doug, let's get to yours, and then we'll get to Milwaukee because JHG is interested in Milwaukee for a couple of reasons.
Let me knock my thing out of the way.
No, talk it up.
One or two reasons.
I'm going to serve myself up some more.
Maybe one.
And I got this.
Too.
Yeah, I got this for the label. I will say this. Look at this friggin' label.
Of course you did.
That's kick ass. Like that.
It is called Imperial Beanhead Coffee Porter.
Ooh.
So this is from a brewery I'd never heard of called Rushing Duck, and they're out of Chester, New York, which is closer to Daniel, I believe.
Russian duck.
Rushing, like rushing.
Rushing.
Fast. So, yeah, but that fucking can art just was like, that's fucking cool. I'm picking that up. And then it was a coffee porter, which made me even happier. Unfortunately for Daniel, this is brewed with coffee and lactose. So that's not something he can have, unfortunately. But I will drink it for you, my friend. So look at that nice dark. Baby. Look at that. I love when that does that. Does that mean my glass is dirty or clean? I don't know. Oh, that smell is lovely. Just coffee and porter smells. Just Oh, that is really sweet. I was not expecting it to be that sweet. The lactose is really assertive there. Coffee, not so much on the palate, though.
It doesn't sound great.
No, it's not what I was, because when you expect a coffee porter, because porters are roasty, you expect a coffee roast, all that, it's not very roasty. It's mostly sweet. I think they overdid the lactose. Oh, shit, this is 9.5% alcohol.
Oh.
So I think the lactose is like so prominent, which made it one very sweet and very high ABV. So
yeah, and I can almost say never. I'm almost never a fan of a sweet porter.
I've not had a lot of them, and I wasn't expecting this to be sweet. I was expecting to be very roasty and coffee forward, and it was a little bit sweeter. One of the rare occasions. Go ahead, Greg. Sorry.
Oh no, you go, Doug. I cut you off.
I was going to say one of the rare occasions where a nice label didn't follow up with a nice beer. So. Yeah,
and responding to Mike's comment here, Doug and I love coffee porters too.
Oh, so I do.
But that doesn't sound. It sounds like it's advertised as a coffee porter, but it doesn't sound like there's much either coffee or maybe it's old, buddy, or I don't know. Maybe it's just mixed executed.
It doesn't have a date on the bottom, so I don't know.
To me, porters aren't supposed to be sweet ever. To me,
no, you want that roastiness. Like you can have some lactose in it to make it all get, especially if it's a coffee porter, because then you get that like sort of coffee with creamer kind of feel to it, and then but this is the lactose is too much on it for my taste.
Well, and that's why I don't like any of your fruit porters either. So I know, isn't it Great Lakes makes that raspberry one, which I think is a complete abomination.
I don't like raspberry porters at all.
I don't like sour porters, so I'm picky about my porters, y'all. I mean, I'll drink them and I'll try them all day long, but no, I'm not buying a 4-pack of your. No. What is formerly Captain Heisey-Grove drinking? He's not Captain anymore because
he's drinking
it's more the Uncle Nearest.
Okay. And
sticking with one.
JHG has done a wardrobe change. He's one of the few guests have done wardrobe changes over the years, Doug. We've had a few. And then we've had one who didn't have a wardrobe at all. And we've had it all here. So remember Roberto came on and had like 16 different hats.
Yeah, he was Beyonce for our show.
We had Zach. We had Zach in different robes, didn't we?
Yeah. Well, we also had
slippers, maybe.
Slippers for sure. I was going to say that.
He shuffled from the fridge to his desk and had to get different slippers on. We also have Manny Macias do wardrobe changes as well.
Yes. So JHG joins the club, and have we rated JHG's arrangement? JHG, you get a 8. Okay, so the desk is a little messy, but desks are messy. That's what the whole purpose is.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, it's kind of an eye distraction. It takes away from the overall aesthetic. Look, I'm using big words.
I can make it go away.
So I'll give it an 8. I'll give it an 8. It's at least it's a workable studio. It's respectful. I wish I could see a plant or something in the back. Shut up, Doug. What's your rating then?
I'm in the same. I'm saying 8. Listen, I think plants would be great. The problem is I don't think that room looks like it. If it has a window, it's behind a computer. If it doesn't,
right. The only window is above me right here. We're in the basement, so there's no way it would live.
Yeah, but okay.
unless it was looking for sun on high. Oh.
Did y'all coordinate that shit?
Yes. No. Come on.
JG was given a 9 before. Right. Yeah. You can get a fake plant. Right. Don't lie.
No.
You could do no fake plant. It'd be like that Galifianakis skit with the between two plants interview that he does.
Yes. To go back to what Mike was saying in one of his previous comments, his first gen rad shirt is dying. I have good news, Mike. We actually updated our rad shirt to have the intersex symbol, the latest version of the the flag. So we have a new rad shirt, and it's up on our spring store. So definitely go look for it. It is updated. It is new. He noticed and he loves it. So it's all the proceeds from the sale of the rad shirt, the newer version. All of them go to TYEF. It's a trans youth. I always forget what the hell the EF is. It's a foundation meant to. They hold a camp. They have a camp, and they try and help trans kids and trans youth who are struggling at home or don't have a place to go. And again, all the proceeds that come from the sale of the shirt go to them. We don't collect any of it. So,
right.
Get yours today.
Well, that or go, Doug.
I was going to say from my little Googling, TYEF is Trans Youth Equality Foundation. So
thank you. Yes, that's it.
Okay. We'll have that right here. There we go.
Yeah, we partnered. Our good friend Matt Strain came across them and started this partnership a couple of years ago, and it's been really, really well received. We've been able to give a couple $100 to their foundation. We'd love to give more, so we just need to get the word out there that it's out there and what it goes towards. The org as a nonprofit is really trying to reach the kinds of families and the dads that are sort of forgotten about. Most at-home dads are just thought of as, cis white male kind of guys, and the family dynamic is pretty white. And we know that that's not the case. We know that there are many families out there that are doing the same thing. They just have a different makeup, different kinds of kids. And because we have really gotten ourselves into being a somewhat of a family first organization, this fits right into that wheelhouse of family. So we've been really happy to support TYEEF and the work that they do.
Sweet. And y'all updated on your beers, right?
Yep.
Okay, cool. I want to segue to um, one of the reasons why JHG's on here is to celebrate Father's Day. Happy Father's Day, y'all.
Yep.
Father's Day
Thank you.
has, I'm not really, I mean, we could talk about it, but Father's Day is kind of more for me as my kids gotten older. And I think a lot of fathers, a lot of fathers kind of go through this too. As your kids get older, they have different needs, especially, running around after them and trying to not have them kill themselves. Goes to
Mhm.
running around, not trying to have them kill themselves.
Mhm. Mhm.
In different ways.
Pretty much.
Correct. But one of
You
the
are not
things
wrong.
that was going on, since we last saw y'all, the last time we saw y'all, we had Afro Beer Chick on, and she was talking about a whole lot of different things. But one of the things that the day after that, I went to Milwaukee for a wonderful tour of the beer gardens there, Doug. And I'm telling you, Milwaukee has a lot of really good things going on. But I think Milwaukee has a touch of Chicago bad syndrome. What I mean by that is people demonizing the city for the bad things that are perceived about it. Now,
Mhm.
every municipality in this motherfucker has problems. So whether you're rural and don't have any hospitals or people of sanity, sorry, or you're urban and you have a whole lot of people, which brings a whole lot of different problems, whether it be crime, whether it be
Yep.
pollution, more people, more problems. Wasn't this a song? Haven't we gotten over this shit? So the demonization of like certain cities, and they do it to states too, whether it be California, and it goes both ways. People on the left do it to places like Wyoming, Montana, and I think we just need to all chill out. Milwaukee is, as I've grown to go to Milwaukee, my kids are really young when I moved to Wisconsin, so we didn't do much traveling. Milwaukee's probably like an hour and a half away. So we kind of kept it close, never went. My kids are getting older now. We travel to Milwaukee a couple times a year now. And every time we go down there, we thoroughly enjoy ourselves. And last 2 weeks ago was no different. I went to 5 different beer gardens in one day, and it was just great. It was a great time. They range from really, really fun places to be to overly crowded places. And we went to really nice restaurant. At the end that had a beer garden, like an urban kind of beer garden. It was really, really nice, beautiful. So Milwaukee is, I believe, an up and coming place, but I think it was probably better than anybody really gives it credit for. And now Milwaukee seems to be a place where a lot of people want to come for a lot of reasons, and people want to meet there. If y'all recall, the Democratic National Convention was there during the pandemic. If y'all recall, the Republican National Convention will be there next year, and also this
This
long
next year.
next
I
year.
thought it was
Yep.
this year. I think it's this
Okay,
year.
is it this year when they nominate their people, or is it next year? I don't know.
It might be next year.
It's no, it's next year when they nominate whoever
Yeah.
they're going to put up to get beat by Joe Biden.
Yep.
Um, that's going to happen in Milwaukee, and so people are choosing Milwaukee as a destination, and who else is choosing Milwaukee as a destination? In my long-winded buildup is one of my favorite events every year, and that would be this one, y'all.
That's right.
So at this point, I will shut my mouth and let the president of said organization speak for this. But as you can see, Homedadcon's coming to Milwaukee this year.
We are. We are
Dates
coming
are right there.
Yep.
Website's right there.
Please
Social
go.
media's right there. What's
Yep.
up, JSG?
So we're coming to Milwaukee. One of the dads of the org, Greg Clapp, who lives in Milwaukee, he gave us a pitch that we couldn't resist. And so we're making our way to Milwaukee this year. We're going to have a bunch of great stuff on the program for it. We have a lot of good pre-convention activities we're going to be doing. There's going to be a Lambeau Field tour there are guys that are getting together to go and play D&D at the founder's home, which is in the Wisconsin, in the Milwaukee area. We also have a 5K run that we're going to do that will end at one of the parks downtown, and we're going to do a public service cleanup of the park once we're done. We're going to have our convention eve activity before the convention starts. We're going to have that downtown at the marketplace, which is a great venue. When we were on here to talk about James, we actually broadcast from outside the location, and it's just an amazing collection of vendors, different kinds of food, games. There's a bar there, just a really great meeting place. They've been working on that particular space for the last several years, and they have a room that you can reserve that we're going to be using for Convention Eve. So we'll have space dedicated to us, which will be great. But the location is fantastic, right downtown. It's just a stone's throw away from the hotel. And let me tell you where the hotel is. It is the Hyatt Regency Milwaukee on Kilbourne Avenue. And we'll be there Friday and Saturday. That's the 22nd and the 23rd for the actual convention itself. It's one of the great things about Homedadcon is getting these dads together and giving them an opportunity to reconnect, recharge, and, re-energize themselves to go back and do the things that they do with their kids. Because sometimes it's a lonely life. And we try and give them a sense of community and provide them not only the means to get a break, but also give them valuable things to come back home with to make their parenting experience better. I'll just give you I'll just run down the different things that we've got going on this year. We have our first keynote is with one of our board members, Danny Mercer. He's doing self-care without the guilt. We have a couple of breakouts. One is things we are scared to share. Another is why is the Dad Lounge so important? And I'll get into the Dad Lounge in a minute or two. That's being co-hosted or they're co-presenters, two guys who became a part of the membership of the organization through the Dad Lounge. We have household finances because we could all do better with money. Yeah, we got to have some practical learning here. Some of the other breakouts we have is your power as an advocate. And we have two presenters. One is a licensed practitioner that deals with kids that have disabilities or other underlying issues that make it harder for them to learn. And he is co-presenting with one of our members, Joe Saladino, who has experience being a dad who has to deal with the systems and trying to get the best education for their kids and working with school districts and things like that to get a better education for their children. It's not easy for a lot of them. There are just so many administrative roadblocks that some parents find and run across. And when the child can't speak for themselves, you have to do it for them. So these guys are going to talk about that. As always, we have our mental health breakouts that we're doing. Those are a staple of our conventions. We really try and give guys personal space to really talk about things that are on their mind, that are bothering them. It is being a co-hosted, well, I shouldn't say hosted. We have a couple of guys who work in the mental health space. There's Danny again, and our good friend Lauren Jaffe, who struggles with his mental health, and he's been very honest about that. And he's been one of those contributors to that space for as long as I've been a part of the org. And he's just an amazing person. He struggles a lot, but we give him all the love and support that he needs. And then we have a fun one. We've got animal husbandry and how raising birds can help raise your kids. One of the guys that's co-hosting the thing about the Dad Lounge, Philip Fry. He is also a avid guy with birds. So he and another gentleman are going to about animal husbandry and how that works. And then let's see here. What else we got? How to maintain a healthy relationship with your spouse. That's always a difficult space to navigate. And we're always appreciative of guys who can come and talk to our members and how they can create a better relationship with their spouse. Let's see. We also have overcoming imposter syndrome in fatherhood. We've heard a lot about
Hi.
Right. Hi there. We don't necessarily address imposter syndrome in fatherhood, and on a more basic social level, we've heard about it in the news a little bit, right? How people in business and working in the office deal with imposter syndrome, but parents feel that way too. And so we're trying to create that space where we can talk about that issue and really help dads navigate imposter syndrome and if they're feeling it. We also have dads married to high commitment spouses. We did that several years ago, and it was a big hit. I think almost the entire convention came to that one breakout because for at-home dads, we do have our spouses are usually the one carrying the brunt of the workload. And so how do you navigate at home, the life at home? It's kind of in tandem with the how to maintain a healthy relationship with your spouse. But the idea of how high commitment spouses and how do you get time with them? How do you get your own space with them when they're just so high strung and working so hard? And one of the fun breakouts that we've got, and we always try to include some fun ones, is sewing for the at-home dad. And one of the co-chairs from Milwaukee, Paul Gordon, his mom is coming in to teach guys how to sew and do some sewing. And quite honestly, it made me think of our good friend Aaron and his son Sam, and just how much joy he gets out of sewing and working with that. So that should be a fun one. And then to go back to keynotes, we have a couple of them and there's one that's really important. I'll save for last, but the importance of connection. We are going to be speaking with a woman by the name of Melissa Davidson. We always try and bring in experts that can tell us more about how we can better connect with our kids, with our spouses, really try and bring in those outside experts that give us insight that we just can't find on our own. Another is going to be expanding care and the benefits to families and society of men in caring roles. So one of the things that we notice is the hardship of fathers to be able to gain health benefits and family benefits for caring for their children and caring for their families and trying to expand the care into that space, and finding the tools to do that. And there are some organizations that are helping do that too, but we've got a woman by the name of Noel Chelsea that's coming in to speak to that. Another is going to, and it's a keynote, but it's a keynote, but a panel. And our good friend Jeffrey Bernstein is coming back to Homedadcon, and he's going to be talking about gender inclusivity and how we as parents can make an impact on collective futures. So Jeffrey is bringing. Last year he came and he did nail painting with us and taught us how to paint nails, because there are plenty of dads who have girls and just don't know how to paint a nail. And
Or
so,
boys.
Or boys.
I want to paint their nails. Who gives a shit?
No, you're right. Absolutely. And so Jeffrey is bringing his expertise in another way to a Homedadcon, and we couldn't be more happy that he's doing that to give us more insight into the gender inclusivity space, because a lot of us could use it, quite honestly. And then last but not least, and this is one that was near and dear to Greg, who I mentioned earlier, is interacting with criminal justice. And it's a panel. One of the things that a lot of our dads who are not in the minority are finding it hard how to talk to your kids who have friends who are minorities, who deal with issues that they don't understand. So how can we have and create conversations that can help their kids help their friends navigate through those harder criminal justice spaces, and learning from that. It's been, the org has made an incredible effort over the last several years to really try and focus its attention in the dad space on things like minority issues, because there are plenty of minority dads out there, and I say minority and I don't mean it in a negative way, but there are plenty of dads out there who have not only the basic parenting struggles, but societal struggles that they also have to overcome to just do what they do. And so we, as an org, acknowledge that. We want to help address that, and we want to learn from that. So we're looking forward to this year and having it in Milwaukee. It's a really beautiful place. We went as a board, like I said earlier this year, checked it out. We should have a lot of fun. It's a beautiful, beautiful city, and guys are excited to come there. So yeah, that's the Homedadcon pitch.
All right, I have a few things.
Please.
Right. First of all, I want to say that the last time you guys actually were on this show, you made a pretty big contribution to James Lopez and his recovery.
We did.
And I want to make sure that we address the idea that the National At Home Dad Network, I believe it was $500 you guys contributed to James Lopez and his fund to help recover. And you talked about actually having a scholarship in his name as well, as I recall. And
we did.
That's the kind of stuff that people need to see. And I understand the need to not be like, yeah, we're doing this and like promote yourselves. But the idea is like you guys were there for a dad who is in need.
Yes.
Even if he wasn't part of your organization per se, he's still a dad, and you guys made an effort to try to help lessen the load for his family, which is awesome. And you guys deserve all kinds of kudos and thank yous for that, because that was important. And thank you for doing that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Cheers to that. Right. So one other thing before I get to Greg and his third beer there. Third beer.
Mm-hmm.
All right. One other thing I want to talk about is that imposter syndrome shit. Holy fuck. I have that in spades everywhere. But we're nowhere more prevalent than parenting. Nowhere more prevalent. I am enormously hard on myself on a lot of things. No more place in parenting. Like when I do something and then I talking with my kids, and then I say something, and then later on, I am just mentally beating the shit out of myself afterwards about what I said, how I did, could I have done better?
Yeah.
I think it's great that you're having something to address that, because imposter syndrome isn't just work related. Like there's two places that is super prevalent. It's in my parenting and it's in my writing. Those are two places I just can't get past the idea that I fucking suck. And
well, yeah. No, you're not alone, and that's what we recognize, is that a lot of dads feel that way. Like, we suck. We can't do this. This is terrible. I'm a terrible parent. How did I, did I make the right decision? Did I say the right thing? So many of those things run through so many at-home dads' heads on a regular basis, and it is definitely a subject that we have not covered before, but we are looking for, we are keeping our eye out on those kind of spaces to address them and give them the tools, and dads the tools that they need to try and work through some of them. Now, one breakout isn't going to do it, but it's a good start. And we want to provide those starting points if we haven't done it before.
Yeah. Greg.
So I'm glad to hear that. I think that's wonderful that you recognize that, and that and that Mike too, right? There are plenty of us who feel it but aren't necessarily ready to acknowledge it, or at least say it. Like, they might say it to themselves internally, but they're not going to say it out in public or in front of anybody. So the one great thing about Homedadcon, I find, is that you are in a environment that gives you that ability to say it and not feel judged by it, because so many of us have similar feelings, or at least empathize with the feelings that you have.
You're here. So Greg, what do you have? What's your thing in your glass now?
It's fucking fantastic.
you like measured
if he raises the can, it says it's fucking fantastic. I'll love it.
Oh, dude, that would be awesome. That would be fantastic if that was the case. It's fucking fantastic. God,
can't do it. But this is one I think y'all know. I think a lot of people y'all know. I haven't had it in a while, but this is what I think you wanted your beer to be earlier. That coffee porter, which is Tweak from Avery.
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh,
and that's super high ABV though. That's a
13.1.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh,
JHG, you never had Tweak?
I have not had Tweak. No.
I think I have some Tweak for you.
Daniel!
If your package ever gets here, there's gonna be a return, and I think we'll put Tweak. The Tweak is
awesome.
It's a stout with coffee, aged in bourbon barrels, JHG. So right up your,
absolutely up my alley. Yeah,
it is. Avery is Colorado, I believe. Right?
It is correct. It is Colorado. It's actually near my brother-in-law.
Yep. Avery Brewing out of Colorado, Lauren Yee. Yep. A Tweak is This year's batch it has that balance, Doug, of that
Nice.
bourbon barrel, but there's a lot of coffee. You can taste it's stout. This one is getting slammed, y'all. This is really good.
Nice.
This is really, really good.
If you can find any Avery beer that has like a gold label on the top, just fucking grab it. They're all bangers.
And it's not. I think the coffee cuts out the sweetness that you would expect out of a 13% beer. You know what I mean? It's going to be sweet. You know that. But the coffee cuts through it, JHG, so nice, and there's a really nice balance. And then the bourbon barrel comes in. This is a really sweet beer, and I'm grateful to be able to have it. Actually,
nice.
I don't know. So really quick, Dog, and then we'll get to yours. The only reason I have this is because the beer store that I bought it from, like they're persistent, JHG, meaning that anything that new comes in, they take a picture and put it on the social media. Like
nice.
they don't. I mean, they put the name in it. You know, of course, this is Tweak Avery, but like, there's something with pictures, y'all, and there's something with. I'm more if I see like. I'm not even a can person like Doug. I'm not even a can art. I don't consider myself a can art person like Doug, but that could move. But I am on a subliminal level because that could move me if I see it. Like if I see it, like if you say we have Tweak Avery, I'm like, okay. But if I see it, like I'm more likely to be like, oh no. And then the lady works right up the street from there. So then it's just like too easy, JHG.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
To like be like, and she's always like, can I get beer for you? Can I get beer for you? And I'm always like, no, because I just don't. I can barely pick beer for myself out. But then, you know what I mean? So I'm not even going to task that on anybody. I know it's a pain in the ass because I'm a pain in the ass about it. So, but like when they have those pictures, JHG, it just makes it so much easier for me to be like, you know what I mean?
I gotta get it. Yeah.
And then the best part, JHG, is that all I have to do is send her a picture and say, look, it's the one on the left. It's the one on the left. So then even if she, she can go in and look, so she's not there spending time. And then even if she doesn't, she can go to the clerk and say, hey, do you have this one on the left here? Like it just makes it so easy if y'all liquor stores would do this. I'm telling you, it would increase your sales because it really has gotten me to And then also, JC, if they just got it, it's fresh. So then it's like, you know what I mean? Especially with the IPAs and all that. So that's why I'm like, it just makes it really too easy. And it's really, really simple. But I don't see any of these. I mean, I'm talking about, listen, I'm not expecting wine and what's the big one? What's the big one? The wine and
Total Wine.
Yeah. I don't expect Total Wine to do it. You know what I'm saying? But I do expect mom and pop shops to do it. And that would really bridge the gap between them and a Total Wine, which is, it's hard to compete against Total Wine because you can walk into Total Wine and pretty much get anything from almost anywhere.
That's like the place that I got Black Viking at. They do that. They take pictures of the stuff that they just get in and they post that in their Instagram. So that it's there.
Right. And another instance of this, JHG, you and I were involved in it this week, which is there's only one Muslim brewery in America, y'all. One. And JHG, I talked to her on a Twitter space a while ago. And JHG, since then, I told JHG about her because she's distributes to Washington. So literally on Twitter, I JHG's like, kind of keep me up if you see like she's down there. So then I was tagging JHG in photos that she was like distributing this week. So like, she's like, hey, we're here. And again, that's smart because now I can tag my friends who are in Maryland and say, yo, get that Muslim beer, the Muslim lady who makes beer and all that. Yeah. Again, those pictures help. They help. Like, do it, y'all.
Absolutely.
I know sometimes that it's social media can be tenuous, whether it be putting up that stuff, whether it be responding to it, whether it be thinking up shit that you have to do for it. But just taking a picture of what beers y'all just got in, I'm telling you, it's going to make a difference. It made a difference in my life, and it'll make a difference in yours. Look at that.
Now, if only we can get rid of fucking Louis DeJoy and get him out of the
That's okay. So
you
that's
guys would have the beer that I sent.
That's one
I
of my
swear.
big gripes with Joe is at this point. What the fuck are you doing about that? That dude should have been gone the second you got in, yo. Like they literally put him there so he could come up the system. Like,
Yep.
Stop.
He's
Like,
done it.
and Joe, you've taken time on some things like weed and other things. And the weed thing I understand now. I get it because they're doing a survey for scheduling, meaning they're doing research to see whether they can schedule and how they should schedule weed as a different thing than Schedule C, which is like heroin and fentanyl and all that, which obviously everybody knows that's a bad mix. Those two aren't the same. Okay, y'all? We got it. But at the same time, I don't know what more research you have to do about DJoy. He brings no joy to no one besides himself. So, yeah, so he needs to go, Joe. I know you got a lot of things to do up there on that hill, but let's
get rid of him.
It's really ridiculous. So yeah, back home beer. Yes, if y'all can get it, she's all in. She, for the record, I don't know if you follow her or not, but I couldn't tag you in all the ones that she's in. Well, I could, but it would have been a lot. So check her feed because she's all around DC. So you might be able to snack some of that up. Also, JC, you already know about. So you already know about them, which is that collab with Sam Adams should be dropping soon. So I'm going to keep you a bridge of that, JG.
Please
and
do.
I'm pretty sure that should be at Barron Flow. If not,
oh man, I can't wait.
Yeah,
I'm putting in orders this year, dog. Though, like I want him to bring me some beer personally, motherfucker, and then I will.
If that,
I got some New Glarus. I got New Glarus, so that's always tradable.
What was your question, Doug?
Are you going to be able to come to Barrel and Flow?
Oh,
this year, probably not, because I think it's when is it?
It's in August. It's
I'm going because Homedadcon in September and August I'm pretty much booked. So,
he's still there, right? DJoy?
Yes, he is.
Mm-hmm.
They had the majority on the board to pull him out, and they
So what are we waiting for? Let's go.
I don't know.
Look, this is perfect. He brings no joy.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
No.
And he's a Trump knucklehead, which again, I'm sorry, but this shit. Hold on, this shit makes.
Yes.
It's fucking perfect. That's a perfect.
Barack Obama would never approve of that, but I don't
heavy
care.
C's, I see.
Greg.
Oh yeah.
That's a little bit of heavy C's, I see, right?
It is.
And
this is something Greg and I got at Heavy C's, but this is something I got. A friend of mine went to Baltimore with his wife, and he brought me back a 4-pack of this shit.
Oh.
And I was like, dude, what are you doing? And he's like, well, you gave me beer at the bottle share, and I gave his wife 2 sours. I'm like, dude, now I owe you a lot more beer. Don't do that. So for those of you who aren't familiar, Blackbeard's Breakfast is a fucking awesome beer. This is a porter aged with coffee and aged in bourbon barrels.
Heavy C's makes awesome beer.
You're trying to one up me today,
dude. After that last coffee porter, I think I need to make up for this. And I know this will satisfy. This was something that Greg and I had at Heavy C's before the pandemic. Jesus, man. Like,
there was that pandemic thing.
Yeah, and that was the best brewery we went to, as far as I'm concerned. But look at that pour. Look at that, how dark and lovely it is. Smells fucking delicious. All the coffee notes, all the bourbon notes, all on your nose.
That's what she said.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
Nose deep.
Roasty with the fucking coffee and the porter, and then you get that bourbon burn at the end.
Yeah, baby.
That is a superb beer. Yum. What?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. I am wildly jealous of that. One, look at the label. With the fucking skull and the volcano, that's fucking fantastic. I'm so glad they revamped their labeling.
Yes, it looks so much better from their old stuff.
Yeah,
they got some good designer on this shit.
Yeah, I was wondering, Doug. I was wondering why Doug said that was the best brewery that we went to. It was a backhanded slap at, with all due respect, Guinness.
Guinness had great food, and their beers, and they had really cool beers. But the vibe at Heavy Seas and the beers we had there. Remember that Pilsner we had there? That Pilsner was fucking banging. That was such a good, super crisp Pilsner. And then you go and you do the Blackbeard's breakfast, and it's like, what a variance! Like,
and
so good.
Yeah, and I don't think we thought that Guinness was bad. I think we just thought that
no,
it was better.
Yeah,
but Heavy Seas was better.
Yep.
I have to get myself over to Heavy Seas. I still haven't gotten over there. I've been to the Guinness. I haven't been to Heavy Seas.
Well, do both. Why not?
Doing them both
Why not?
Doing them both is kind of surreal in a way. Actually, it's really interesting.
Yeah, it's such a juxtaposition because Guinness is fucking ginormous,
right?
And then Heavy Seas is this small little place with a little food truck out, and but it's just. I just really loved their brewery. Like, I really thought it was just a cool little place.
Even if you think the beers are part of each other, it's just very, very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So,
I will have to say that when I did go to Guinness, they had a vanilla stout that was
probably
amazing.
Right. Guinness is a really good time. It's a beautiful, wonderful space.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is.
I am one of those people that I will prefer a smaller brewery to a giant fucking facility. Just on the basis of I want something a little bit more personal. Like when you're at Guinness, you're not going to talk to a brewer. Never. A Heavy Seas or something like because it's small. You might run into a brewer. You might because it's small. Like I'd rather run into that than I would into a big place. Now, like I said, when we went to Guinness. That food was fucking awesome. I love the food there. I had some good beer there, but like Heavy Seas, Greg, you and I think enjoyed ourselves more there than we did at Guinness. But that's just a personal preference, I think.
Yep, Doug. And one way that Doug enjoys himself.
Ooh.
So I'll start because I never talk here in this segment because Doug always chastises me that I don't talk.
Do it.
I don't have a picture for this because I just thought about it. But last week the boys and I watched The Terminator, the original one.
Oh,
and that's the reason. Yes, and that's because I wanted to show. Respectfully, I wanted to just skip to T2 and just show them T2. But like, I realized that Terminator. Well, I realized in that how much Terminator 1 gets overlooked by T2, if that makes sense. They're both really good movies, but T2 is the one that like it almost reminds me of the Dark Knight series, where the second one overshadows the whole three of them, even though the whole three of them are really good movies. The first one's a really solid movie of the Dark Knight series. Bomb, which we've had a couple of over the years for sure. But yeah, T1 was fun. The kids liked it. It aged well. I said before in the stream a lot, and I said it on Twitter too, which is I use my kids as a barometer of movies that age well. And if they like it, I feel it aged well. If they don't, it didn't age well. And T2 they enjoyed. They liked it. They thought it was cool to see Arnold outside of the only time they saw Arnold before that, y'all, was in fucking Batman.
That's a bad introduction to Arnold.
Correct. So now they're like, so the oldest was like, Okay, I get what you're saying that Arnold Schwarzenegger was a badass, and I was like, yes, he was. Like,
Yes, he was.
at one point. So then we're gonna do T2. Then at some point we'll get into Predator because they saw the things for Predator.
Oh, the
And I was
original
like,
Predator, though.
That's a good
yeah,
one.
yeah. So I'm
Get
like,
to the chopper.
I almost forgot how good Schwarzenegger was back in the day and how entertaining he was in those roles. For sure. He's never going to be looked at as like the greatest actor ever, clearly. But in those roles, he was greatly casted and he acted those roles to the fullest. True Lies is another one. So yeah, my sons are like, Schwarzenegger's cool. We just thought Iceman was a little bit much. And I'm like, Iceman is a little bit much. But so yeah, tomorrow's Juneteenth, so we'll probably be out doing Juneteenth things. Or Saturday's the day that at least in Madison they do their Juneteenth celebration. So there will be no Saturday matinee this week. But next week, the next time we're going to do T2. But yeah, that's what I'm watching.
Excellent.
All right, you want me to go or JHD? I'll go. All right.
well, wait, hold on. Kindergarten Cop.
Dude, there's a million. You could show them The Running Man. You could show them Total Recall.
Yep.
Oh my God, there's a million.
Last Action Hero, Eraser. Yep, right.
Oh man, all good ones. All good ones. Yes. All right. So what I'm watching is the season 6 of Black Mirror. Black Mirror is one of my favorite fucking shows of the last 10, 15 years.
Did it finally start?
Yes, I watched the very first episode, and the first episode is fucking astoundingly good. Now, keep in mind, the show hasn't been made in 5 or 6 years. I think 2018 was the last time they made a Black Mirror.
Yeah,
it might have been 2019.
Pre-pandemic. Yeah,
pre-pandemic. And then when the pandemic came in, Charlie Booker, who is one of the creators, was like, "I'm not making more depressing shit during the pandemic."
I don't blame him.
And I'm like, that's a good call. So anyway, the one I'm going to show you is Jonah's Awful is the one I watched. As usual, it's just this creepy, just slightly forward ahead of where we are technologically. And Salma Hayek's in it. Kate Blanchett, Annie Murphy. Like, it's awesome. Just awesome. Like, I was watching, I was super uncomfortable, and then it got super funny. And then it got really uncomfortable again. And then it ended really. Now, Black Mirror is not known for their happy endings. I will say that. That is not something they're known for. But the ending is somewhat happy. So it's a rarity for Black Mirror to do that. I haven't gotten farther than that because I have other things that JHG and I want to talk about before the show's over as far as books.
Yes.
But this was, if you haven't watched Black Mirror, I know, Greg, you have not. Start with the first season, skip the first episode, and do this first episode later. The first episode is like, what the fuck is this? That was so fucked up. I am not going to watch any of this other show because it's bad. It's not that it's bad. It's just really fucked up. But when you start watching the other shows, it makes sense of why it's so fucked up.
Yeah.
Yes. Mike Andrews, that's the first episode. The pig scene and a happy ending.
Yep.
That is all you need to know about the first episode. Don't fuck with the first episode right
away. Yeah. That took, yeah. Yes, exactly. Greg, that was like everybody. I think everybody who watched that episode went, "What? What is going on? What?"
Mm-hmm.
It's quite messed up and disturbing.
But when you start watching the other show, you realize what the commentary is and what they're trying to do.
Yes. Yeah.
Lauren, that is not the uncommon face.
That's right.
Okay, before we get to JHG quick, yeah.
Yes, he was.
And then I wanted this to lead into what JHG was going to talk about. So I'm watching West Wing, which is an old school. I heard I've never seen it, but I heard nothing but good about that one.
It's fucking amazing.
Amazing, so. And then
Strange New Worlds, yeah.
Yeah, JHG. Are you ready for this one too? Because I know you like this one, right?
Yep. Yeah, they just started their second season. I haven't actually watched because they just put out the first episode.
So do they do one a week or whatever?
Yeah, they only do one a week. Okay. Kind of like, but yeah, I've been excited for that only because they just wrapped with Star Trek
Picard.
Picard,
Yep.
and that last season was just fucking amazing. Like one of the best. It was like having season 8 of The Next Generation on like steroid. It was like going to the movies every week. They just the kind of love that they had. Like the guy that was producing it gave so much love and harkened back to all the little tidbits of The Next Generation that everybody remembered and loved, and paid homage to it in some small way or larger way. But it was just a phenomenally produced like final chapter for the Next Generation crew and the people who played those roles and whatnot, from beginning to end. It was just amazing. So it's hard to come out of that and not, you come out of that energized, really. And so I'm looking forward to season 2 of Strange New Worlds, because Anson Mount kills it. The writing is great. It's the same. There, 2 of the producers are the same producers from Picard, so they've heavily invested themselves in that franchise and what it means to people, and they don't beat up their fan base and do silly shit that fans will hate.
Like Game of Thrones. Sorry, Doug.
Right, exactly.
Hey, don't apologize for that. That was not my problem.
And Lost. Well, I did say sorry because I know.
Lost.
And Mike
Right.
made a good point here that there's a crossover episode in this coming season with Lower Deck.
It's going to be weird.
It's going to be weird, but I think knowing the producers and the way that they've been able to manage and handle, figure this shit out, the actors who are the voices of the characters in Lower Decks, the animated series, show up in live action and in Strange New Worlds, and they look a lot like their characters already. So to have them show up in the actual show in like live action it's a great new twist and all the different things that they've done in Star Trek to bridge those kind of worlds together. I'm interested to see how they do it, because the time frames of the 2 shows are completely different. So I'll be curious to see what happens with that. Yeah, the clips of them look just amazing. So
JG, real quick,
yeah,
because y'all want to talk about what y'all reading too, I believe. But you've been watching Silo and Wild Wild Country. Wild Wild Country looks like some silly, crazy, fucking cult shit like Doug loves.
Well, Doug and the Cult Bar have really kind of pushed me in that direction to look in and watch some off, like, finding some crazy ass shit.
It's time for Doug to plug it.
Yep, there you go.
All right, so Cult Bar, man, we do some. We try not to do super heavy shit week after week. We don't, because last month we did Bad Vegan, which wasn't really a full cult. It was more like cult-like behavior to control like a very rich woman. But next week we're going to go full in with the fucking Duggars and Shiny Happy People. Oh my God!
Oh man.
I just watched it, and it's more fucked up than you. I can't, like, this is gonna be really fucked up. No, it's really fucked up.
There we go. The Greg face. Really, we need like the Greg face.
When I told him that we were doing that, he was like, "Fuck."
I can't deal with those people. I can't. Like,
it's fucked up. But yeah, so you're welcome for us dragging you into these worlds.
Thank you.
So what was one? I'm going to ask you a dumb question. Wild Wild West is a fucking great documentary about that. It really is a great cult documentary.
I haven't finished it. I have to finish the last episode, but I'm that far ahead. But go ahead, ask your question.
Have you? I'm going to tell you, there's 2 that, for me, the Cult Bar that stood out for the ones that we were just like, yes, that's a fucking weird goddamn thing. Those fucking idiots with 20
Look,
kids. Get the fuck out of here.
but look how they all have faces over them, but the main Mr.
Except for the
Duggar.
dad. Yeah.
Yeah, well, you'll understand why if you watch a fucking documentary what a shithead he is.
Well, I already understand why, but go on, Doug.
Yeah.
Already got it.
So for me, the two most fucked up ones we did were Nexium, which Nexium is really fucking, that's so fucked up. Like all of them are fucked up, but this one was like supremely fucked up. And the one that I just is low key really fucked up because it's wrapped in this new agey health thing was Teal Swan.
Yes.
And you watch that shit, you're like, that chick is a lunatic. And people follow her as a life coach. And it's
she psychologically bends their minds. It's whatever way it is that she does it. It's just so crazy messed up. How
I can't do it. I do it once a month with Doug and Renee. That's just wild. Shit is wild. So we're gonna do this, y'all. We're gonna do this. I always laugh at Doug because I always laugh at Doug because I always ask, where does he get the time when he watches a lot of these shows? He writes, he does reading. I just love your time management, man, because I just fuck around way too much in order to be able to do that shit. Like, and by fuck around, like, what do they say? Like, the average person daydreams like 5 hours a day. That's me. Like, it really is.
I wish it was me. I wish it was me.
Right, you're too busy reading and fucking watching everything.
Hey, let me tell you something, folks. If you are in the same mindset of like, I need to do stuff at all times or I'm not being productive, that whole shit is in my brain all the time, which means like I can't just sit and daydream or just fucking sit outside and just enjoy shit. I got to be doing something. And that shit is not good for your mental health. And I do that all the time. And that is why I can do a lot of things. It's not because I want to, it's because my brain makes it.
All right. Well, JHG, we'll start with you. What are you reading?
So right now I got to look it up because I got to make sure that I got the name of it right. I am currently reading where is it?
JHG, do you do the hardcover books or do you do Kindles?
I do Kindle. And I do Kindle because it's easy for me to just jump from one book to the next and not have to wait for a physical book to be at the library or things like that. I'm not big on buying books. The one that I'm reading right now is called The Book of the Unnamed Midwife. And it came as a Kindle recommendation based on some of my other reading. It is about quite prescient. A plague that wipes out most of the women and babies in the world for some reason, and it's undetermined why or where this plague came from. But it follows a woman who worked in pediatric care and a birthing center in San Francisco, and how she kind of got sick and woke up, and all of a sudden the world is this like apocalyptic dystopia where there's almost no women, there's no babies, there's no kids, and she's sort of traveling the United States trying to survive in a way. I'm not through the book entirely, but it's set as some people who are tasked with transcribing and copying her journal of her journey, and then it dives right into that journey and you follow her around. So that's one I'm reading now. Cool. Because I'm into, like Doug, I'm into like these dystopian, like hellscape kind of things.
Me too.
What I read previously, and Doug has just finished it, I think, was Parable Parable of the Sower by Octavia Butler. And it's another sort of dystopian sort of look on. So it was written in the 80s, in the early to mid 80s, and it is oddly, crazily similar because it takes place in the future for
In the
her
future,
future.
and the future, it's like 2 or 3 years ahead of where we are right now.
Yeah, it starts there, and then it just goes deeper into the future from there. And um, there's a communities are walled off from each other. It's dangerous to leave your walled off community. They live in the story takes place in the Los Angeles area, and the main character is a teenager who sort of talks about the dynamic of the families around them and how they are learning to survive in this very sort of police state, anarchaic kind of United States, and how they're trying to survive. And it sort of culminates in her leaving that space and trying to travel north through California. And it's I don't know how to do this. I don't want to give all of it away, but what I will say is that it really highlights the disparity in and makes light of socioeconomic disparity and political disparity. There's a touch of theocratic kind of thinking. The political climate of the time that she describes is very similar to where we kind of are now, which is eerily like when I read it, I was like, this is too
Close to home.
Too close to home. Yeah. And I did the follow-up, which is Parable of the Sower, which you've got on screen now. And it takes that story and it propelled like
That's Parable of the Talents, the second one. Parable of the
Oh, that's
Sower,
right. Parable of the Talents is the second one. And it takes it even further. To highlight it, there's a presidential candidate in the Talents that is this who has this organization called Christian America. And yeah. And so, and he wants to become president of the United States. And so that's like a little side story. It kind of it sort of weaves the story of these characters and this particular character. But Doug and I talked about it a little bit offline, and there was a part of that story that was very troubling. And it was curious that the author wrote it, but it was an age dynamic, shall we say, that was a little bit troubling.
Yeah. So let's start off by Octavia E. Butler is one of these way ahead of her time authors. She's a Black woman who wrote sci-fi, which was not something you saw a lot. N.K. Jemisin did a foreword for this version of the book that I did, who is another great sci-fi author who wrote a whole bunch of really awesome sci-fi fantasy books. But there is an age difference in this book where one of the teenage character who turns 18, and through their travels, they basically accumulate these things, these people who come and kind of glom onto them because it's dangerous to be alone. The main character is also someone who's a receiver or a feeler, I think is so they basically
it's a feeler. Yeah, feeler.
They're hyper empathetic. So if somebody gets hurt, they feel their pain. So that's her character.
Yeah.
And it's really kind of hard because, in like some sort of dystopian society, you have to kind of defend yourself. So there's times where she has to defend herself and hurt other people, and she feels that, and it's really fucking hard.
Yeah.
But this character she meets along the road is this older gentleman.
It's like in his 50s or something, right?
It seems like he's in his 50s, and the main character is 18.
Yep.
And they end up getting together and fucking and all that stuff. But it's like one of those things like,
yeah,
I don't care if it's male or female, whatever it's older, if there's a discrepancy of age where it's 25, 30 years, I find that really fucking gross.
When one could be the parent of the other.
Yeah, and I extrapolate that even to something like where Bill Murray, who's 70 fucking years old, is dating Keyless, and she's 43, and I find that fucking gross. I don't know. I just find that gross. So that was a hard bit for me to kind of work through.
Yeah, but his milkshake brings all the boys to the yard.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. But that book is like
her milkshake.
So it's funny. Like I look at the parable of the sower as kind of in the same vein of the Handmaid's Tale, where you look at it and you go, "That's not far off." Like there's a far off bit to it, and it's not far off.
That was the thing about those books, is that it was too timely for us, given our current political climate and some of the people that are out there that are spewing what they're spewing. It could easily be and I'll tell you, for you, Doug, that Talents is going to be harder than Sower just because of the things that occur as a continuation of that Christian America character in there. Yeah.
All right. So before we move on, I want to say that I've also started, because I don't read one book at a time. I read multiple books because I'm a freaking weenie. And but this book is called This Is How You Lose a Time War.
I read that one. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is really interesting because it's two different things where basically it's a time travel thing where they're fighting a war to control time. And it's an interaction between two people who are fighting on opposite sides, the bluebirds and the redbirds. And it's super interesting. I'm not very far into it, but man, it's an interesting concept. So if you're looking to read, I got stuff to tell you because I got bunches of shit you can read. So sorry.
That's not a long book either.
No,
I recall it being pretty short. It's a very interesting dynamic of the two characters, like bouncing off. It is told from their two perspectives, and they're responding to each other over time and over consequences that occur.
Yeah. Kind of a flat circle.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Probably.
All right, Greg. Sorry about that. Just geeking out over books. Guess first.
What can I say? It's good shit. It's easy to pour. Yeah. You can't go wrong first.
Juneteenth.
And that's a good cleanser. It's a good cleanser.
All right. I had a whole bunch of beers, but this is the only one that, I mean, not the only one, but this is the one tonight. How about that?
All right. I'm going to go fast. I'm going to go fast. All right. So Imperial coffee, Imperial bean.
Hold on, Doug.
Oh, wait. Lauren, open that.
Open
that.
No, tonight.
Right.
Tonight.
I love the ruckus response on that one.
Open it now and enjoy it because it's fucking awesome.
What are we waiting for?
Right. What's up, Doug?
All right, so Imperial Beanhead Coffee Porter was my least favorite. Too sweet, not coffee enough. Yes, Lauren, you did get yelled at. You should be for that.
Yep.
So Geralt's Gold was my second one. This extra stout bitter from Lucky Hair was really fucking good. If you can't get an ESB, get one. They're great. But Blackbeard's Breakfast was my favorite one. So yeah.
Not surprised.
Excellent. And I wanted to make sure that Mike Andrews' last comment. He started reading Wool.
I don't know what
And
Wool is.
And he's listening to Obama's autobiography. And listening to is really interesting as far as audiobooks. And I was trying to tell the boys about how they should look into audiobooks because we didn't really have them as kids.
Yeah.
And they're just really, or even young adults, actually. Like we got them when we were old. Really like, like widespread. You could get them, there was like cassettes and all that. But they weren't really that accessible as they are even on your Kindles now, JHG. And then you can even go to the library now, check books out on your Kindle and check audiobooks out. So they're just so accessible now. And I don't think people put enough credence into them as much as they do like podcasts or, even things like ours where you could listen to it when you're driving. I don't think enough people make that connection. But if you make long drives, y'all can get through some books really, really fast. So, oh yeah. So
I was going to ask that question, and I'm glad that he answered it on his own because that sounds like it would be amazing.
Oh,
yeah. Wool is apparently when I looked it up, Wool is what the Silo series is based on. I didn't know that.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay. So
yeah, I misspelled it. I respelled it after I corrected.
I thought it was of the same name. Okay.
No, apparently, Wool is a series. Like when
Wool
I'm looking
is
at
a
it,
series.
So,
I'd be interested in that.
Ooh, Doug likes.
There you
rum.
go.
I don't drink rum anymore because I have no fucking off.
Because he can't. Right.
I would just drink it until I drank half a bottle, and that would not be great for me. So
no.
I love that. I love that 12-year rum and 11-year rum. Oh my god! Right.
I love the Kraken. I like fucking.
Kraken. The dark rum with coffee.
Normally, this is the time where we say bye to our guests. We're not going to say bye to our guests. We're all going to go out together. Yeah. So one last time for Homedadcon. You can find it there at homedadcon.org/Homedadcon. If you Google Homedadcon, it's the first thing that comes up. JC, what's going on?
I was about to say we also got a new URL, which is athome.dad that Google provided us and has been promoting for us. So you can find us at both athomedad.org and athome.dad if you couldn't find us already. And you can get your tickets for Homedadcon through our website. And there's still plenty of spaces available, and get a hotel, book your hotel soon. Things are starting to sort of close up there. So thanks, Dan.
Right.
Always good to see you, Daniel.
Daniel, it's always good to see Daniel. Michael Andrews says UPS driver podcasts and audiobooks are a must. I can imagine.
Oh, I can imagine.
Right. Yeah. And Uber drivers and Uber Eats and all y'all doing that too, even on the side. Something I want my kids to look into, actually. But they're like, meh. So whatever. Y'all can meh for a little bit more in your life, but soon you're gonna have to get motherfucking jobs. But anyway, anywho, on that note, we are welcoming Chris Carlton to the show next week. He is, as y'all have seen, a commenter. So it's always nice. A teacher. It's always nice to have a commenter, though. Come up,
our teachers,
talk to us, and we can hold him accountable for every bad thing he said to us in the comments, including
a lot.
Right, including this week, right? And just like Zach, we can. Where's Zach been? He's been doing this. He's doing something with his kids if he's not here. It's either that, like we're his kids, or he's harassing his kids doing dad shit. So on
Yes.
Father's Day weekend. Shout out to you, Zach, for being with your kids, because we know that's where you're at. Otherwise, we know you beat here, harassing us and telling us about the latest vinyl that you got. We know you got new vinyl because you're Zach.
Yep.
And on
It's
that
true.
note, JHG, we want to thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks, man.
We want to put out
Thanks, guys.
a few last plugs for this thing here that I'm not ready to show, but I should be because I've been doing this and now I still can't.
Boom. There it is.
Beautiful city, great beer city, great city for families, actually, y'all. I know you're like, wow, Milwaukee doesn't have that reputation. Well, I'm fucking here to tell you it should. It should.
I'm coming in on Wednesday in the afternoon, so I should be around for part of that beer tour that's planned for that day.
It should.
I expect to be part of that.
The beer, I'm just telling you, unless you go to one or two, there's one that's real dusty, is what I'll say. Hopefully you're not going there. But
I'm sure after the show when we do the post wrap, you'll be telling Greg will let you know who that is.
It's very dusty.
Yes.
All I'll say.
All right.
And that's a really good hint because you could probably extrapolate from that. But you should definitely also venture to one also.
For sure.
And while you're by the lakefront, you could also have some company. And I'm going to stop because I'm going to, and maybe at night you can see the supermoon. And on that note, we're out of here, y'all. Thanks, JC.
Cheers,
it's been
guys.
great.
Cheers,
thanks
everybody.
Thanks for all y'all. And it's good to be back, even though we only took a week off. See y'all next week.
See ya.
See ya.